Hi guys, this is Shikama. I'm gonna ramble, you're gonna listen, you're gonna profit from listening to me. I watch a lot of business news. I research a lot of financial, because I'm going for my certified financial analyst certification, which is there's only 30,000 in the world, so I will be a hot commodity. Now I've been thinking that I need to apply the knowledge that I have to my own personal life on a personal level. I want to talk about people who say they can't save money. I'm Capricorn. Money is everything to me. If I don't have $50,000 in the bank, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I'm stressed out, I'm irritable. But it comes down to, have I calculated all the expenses in my life versus how much I make, how much revenue am I generating? I own several businesses and I really need to sit down and create a detailed account. Let's first take living. I know a lot of people say they can't save money, but then you look at them, look at their expenses, and say, you live 2 blocks from Main Street. Yes, I have to live 2 blocks from Main Street. I can walk to Main Street. Yes, but if you live 2 blocks from Main Street, you're paying a 50% premium, 100% premium, 500% premium on your location versus if you lived 10 miles away from Main Street. And the difference is you could live 10 miles from Main Street and instead of paying $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month in rent at an apartment that you don't own, that you're not building equity in, and actually buy a house 10 miles away and pay $500, $400, or even rent out space in your home and even make money off of the tenant so that you could buy a car, save all of that money, buy a car so that you could drive to Main Street if you so desired. There are a lot of people who don't apply business to their job. You need to calculate and redo your resume every 6 months, even if you have a job. What am I talking about? There are a lot of businesses that pay people $250 a week, $300 a week, $400 a week, $500 a week, but they are doing the duties of an office manager, human resource manager, accounting, right? If you updated your resume every 6 months and put down 6 months experience in human resources, and do what? Go find a higher paying job every 6 months. If you must have a job, I say you need to think of yourself as a commodity. There should be no reason that you should stay at minimum wage for over 6 months. And then I hear people say, well, that's just how much that town can offer. Really? So how much does a mayor make in that town? I'm sure he doesn't make minimum wage. And if the mayor doesn't make minimum wage, look at all the other positions in the town that do not make minimum wage or pay minimum wage. So I've talked about income, revenue generating, yourself as a commodity, and where you live. When my revenue is down, I stop eating. And I don't mean I starve myself. I mean, I don't eat out. I don't go to Taco Bell, McDonald's, which is gross. I cook all of my food. I buy in bulk and never leave the house. My roommate says he can't save money. I tell him, first of all, you pay for all of your meals when you're at work. There should be no reason for that. He made a big, huge thing of pasta. He took 1 bowl to work 1 day. He never took the others to work. And if he wanted something different, he could have made a big bowl of something else or a big pot of something else. We all know that food expenses are an expense. Everybody, the TV is telling that you have to party, and then you see the alcohol commercials, and everybody's just partying, and they're dressed in these fantastic clothes, and they're talking about bottle service, $200, $300, $1,000. What did Kevin Hart say? Kevin Hart says, he's rich, but he's not basketball player rich. Now listen to that. It's a joke, but he's giving you some knowledge. He's saying that he is a millionaire, but he's not a multi-millionaire. Literally, he said that he cannot do bottle service every night. $20,000. He says he can't even tolerate that. He gets a nosebleed. thinking about it. He said the first night he tried to hang with the basketball players, and he said in the second night he had to call them and say, no, I can't make it. I broke my pinky toe. I'm in the hospital with a body cast on. I can't do it. And then, of course, he then went into you see, the way my money works is I don't get paid like everybody else. It only comes in every 30 days, which is the revenue situation that I'm in. As a business, I get my payables are 30 days in the future, right? I generate income and I'm only paid 30 days after all the accounting. Actually, it's 60 days after all of the everything's accounted for. How many of you could wait 60 days before you got paid? I want you to think about that for a second. And if the answer is not you, I would take a hard look at your living expenses, food expenses, gas expenses. And for you married people and the wife wants to work, I want you to sit down and write an expense account, write a complete ledger of everything that she has to pay in order to work. There's a lot of people who said they need two incomes, but the thing is, a lot of the time, the husband's income pays all of the expenses, all of them, but they don't calculate what are the expenses that the wife generates to have the job that she has. How much do you spend in clothing? How much do you spend in transportation? Do you own your own car? Do you have a car note for that car? How much do you spend in maintenance? Every 6 months, how much do you spend in maintenance? How much money do you spend in gas each and every month on that car? How much do you spend in insurance on that car? And that's just the car. How much do you spend in wardrobe? How much do you spend in food expenses? Do you have to wear makeup? Do you have to do something to your hair? What are those expenses? You have to calculate all of those expenses. Are you generating some other expense? Do you have to pay for daycare? And does that daycare require other expenses, extra expenses that you would not have to pay for at home? Is there some sort of liability you have to also pay for because your child's at some highfalutin daycare? Do you have to provide the daycare with stuff that you wouldn't otherwise need? Meaning, are you doubling the stuff that you need at home as well as the daycare? You see what I'm saying? If it's diapers, do you need to buy a whole other set of diapers constantly each and every month, and you still have diapers at home? So you're doubling the diaper expense. Does the husband buy his food at work? These are all expenses. And even for the McDonald's person, are you actually spending more money than you are making at McDonald's, right? You have to calculate how much you spend in bus fare. You have to calculate everything. Are you eating out when you work at McDonald's? Like I said, do a resume every 6 months, a brand new resume with all of your added skills, how long you've worked at those skills, every 6 months. And write it down as months, 58 months, 75 months, 6 months, 12 months. Don't put down years because years sounds really small. 12 months sounds much longer than 1 year. 24 months sounds much longer than 2 years. Have a ledger on yourself. And then a lot of financial gurus are going to tell you pay yourself first. So calculate your account, your bank account. You know, you're not here to impress people. Oh, you live in a good house. Oh, you drive a nice car. Oh, you live so close to the strip. What does that matter? Isn't it better if you go 10 miles away and you come to a damn palace? There are people, I watch a lot of real estate shows, and there are people who literally are so dumb, and the realtor is showing them, and you know, the realtor doesn't quite give his opinion on camera, but you know, you see his eyes when the wife or the girlfriend says, I want to be close to town, but I only have $180,000 for a house. What are you going to buy in town for $180,000? And I want a yard. Are you insane? I was shocked at another show where the wife said, I want to live in the country. I want acres of land. That shocked me. I want a farm. I want chickens, horses, barns, and I want room space for our children to be. And the husband was like, I want to live in town. I want to live a block away from my work. Well, you were working at the financial district. First of all, you can afford to commute. And then finally they did settle on the house out of town in the country. 5 acres, 3-story house, 3,600 square feet, greenhouse, chicken coop, the whole works. You have to think about these things. Oh, and of course it was much cheaper than the house that they looked at in town. You're not here to impress people. Do not make that a point of your life. You do know that rich, super rich, duper rich people live way out in the middle of nowhere in a big mansion. That's what they do. They fly home, right? And they own 5 or 6 houses. But you're not them. And I don't even know why TV is showing it to you. There was another comedian, a lady, who said a lot of you all get tripped up in the stuff on TV and movies. It's not reality. And a lot of times, the person saying that they have this, that, and the other is lying. Not that they're lying, but that's what it says that tells them what to say, the script. Yes, I'm worth $20 billion. He's lying. That's what it's in the script. He's paid to say that. And black people are notorious for that. Oh, I have to go get my hair done. Why do you have to go get your hair? How much is your hair? $100. You don't have a job. How often do you do it? Once a week. What? That's why they can't go swimming, can't get in the shower, can't wash their face. The water might hit their hair. $100 a week with no job. How's that even happen? And then the nails, right? And weighing 300 pounds. What's that about? You're concentrating on something completely wrong and out of your sphere. Like I said, if I don't have $50,000, my day's ruined, my month is ruined, and I scramble to make it right. I get nervous. How many of you have lived without $50,000 in the bank? I'm not talking about bearing interest. I'm talking about my checking account. And I'm not talking about a money market checking account. I'm talking about a plain checking account. Some banks actually charge you. I'm with a credit union. They don't charge me anything, but I don't make any interest. I make shareholder interest, but that's something different. How many of you have lived without $50,000 in your checking account? And I want to tell you that there's something wrong, that you need to take a look at your expenses and get to stepping, making the cuts that you need to. I'm not saying eat ramen noodle, but cook for yourself at home every single meal, 5 meals a day, right? That's the healthy notion, but you're cooking for yourself at home. And if you want variety, cook it all once a week, freeze it, and then take it out to warm it up at every meal. Buy your fresh stuff, or even grow your fresh stuff, all your lettuce, tomatoes, what have you. Tomatoes are easy, and you can actually eat a tomato, and that's a meal if you're doing the 5 meals a day, right? I know a lot of people say, the tomato's not a meal. If you're eating 5 times a day, a tomato is a meal. Little salt, pepper, Himalayan sea salt, organic Himalayan sea salt, right? You need your salt. Let me repeat that. You need your salt. It's as fundamental as water and air. Anyway, that's my rambling. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.